Hi, I'm Mary Jo. I've been a nurse for over 50 years. I have lost over 100 pounds as a postmenopausal woman and reverse chronic disease in my life. And today I wanted to say first, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year's. I hope the holidays are treating you well and you're having a wonderful time with family, friends, and food. Oh, that's it, food. So perhaps we should talk about what is food. Do we ingest things that are perhaps not really food items? Well, in order to unsort this rabble, or perhaps part of the reason I was concerned about it, is that after an exercise class, I was embroiled in this very intense conversation. This poor dear woman, a sweet soul, let me tell you, and she's there all the time, exercising her heart out. And I noticed that she tends to continue to gain weight. And she said something about all food is good and we cannot vilify food and make people feel bad. And we got to stop that. And she was very irate and upset. And I was kind of like, whoa, what am I doing? Did I say anything? Hope not. I thought to myself, she reminds me of myself some years ago. Um, no matter what I did, no matter if these words sound familiar to you, what I did, I continued to gain weight. Recently, I read something that made ding ding dong so much sense to me. And it said that when imbibing in food products that encourage lipogenesis, now lipo means fat, genesis means the creation of. So when the body is into a storage fat developing mode because of the type of food eaten has caused all of these signals to occur that says go ahead and let's get some more fat, let's get some angiogenesis going, let's continue this process. And when that happens, when that is stimulated, is it a wonder you can't lose weight? Of course it is not. So what kind of foods would encourage lipogenesis? And there's two broad categories I can think of off the top of my head, and that is processed foods, particularly simple sugars, because this not just turns on insulin, but skyrockets insulin. So you have lots and lots and lots of insulin that is saying, okay, if you can't use up the glucose, make it into fat. Make it into fat right now. Go, go, go. And that's what will happen. Okay. So yes, that means people who receive insulin injections are in a situation that encourages them to become fat. So there are other things that can be done, but let me not deviate too much from what the conversation was supposed to be about. When you eat animal products, particularly in this day and age, when you eat animal products, you can get a rapid rise in IGF-1. And IGF-1, or insulin-like growth factor 1, created by the liver, a response to heavy-duty amino acids, particularly from animal products, will do the same things as insulin. In fact, the protein in animal products stimulates an escalated IGF-1, which is going to stimulate more insulin, which causes, yes, we're in a growing fat building mode, making it very difficult, if not impossible, to lose weight. Now, added to this factor, that most saturated, or at least large amounts of saturated fat, like one sitting, that would come to you primarily from animal products. So saturated fat can produce a liposheath, as I stated before, around muscle cells and liver cells, diminishing the ability of insulin to be able to allow glucose into the cell, encouraging insulin resistance, higher insulin, and eventually higher blood sugar levels. That is to say, diabetes. And all of this came from eating fat and protein. Yes, and Yes, simple sugars, processed foods, highly palatable foods. So I, I think that the woman was right. We should not vilify food. But isn't it unfortunate that when you're hungry, you think you want a certain type of food? And how often does that food contain not just macronutrients or caloric content, but significant micronutrients and fiber, and in some cases, water? How often is that the food of choice? That is to say, are foods that contain a lot of chemicals, a lot of sugar, oil, and salt. They are very, very addictive to the palate. They also diminish the ability of taste buds to taste real whole food like greens and fruits and nuts and seeds. So, my thought is we should never vilify food. Food is good. Eat all you want, whenever you want. Sounds wonderful to me. Okay, but a caveat to that is, are you eating food that which nourishes the human body and soul, which can repair DNA, which can extend telomere length to allow lots of cellular replication to continue to occur so that you can continue to survive in this world? And you know what I found out? Real whole food actually makes you feel not only energized, but happier. And when I eat correctly, and not like a fiendish, crazy woman, which I can sometimes be, I sleep so well. And good, deep sleep for you ladies out there that are postmenopausal like me, is not it a blessing to the soul? And does it not revitalize the spirit? Another thing about poor sleep is, guess what? It increases your appetite the next day. So, I agree with this lady. Food should not be vilified, and people should not be judged, and people should be able to choose whatever it is they wish to choose. I do find that people can be very clingy to whatever eating style they want to continue. And I wondered why. I mean, if your eating style is white bread, meat, white potatoes, noodles, lots of cookies, maybe going to a bakery for donuts and goodies like that. I mean, if that's what you are primarily eating, then those foods are going to put you in a lipogenic mode, making it very difficult, if not impossible, to lose weight. But some people say, I want this type of bread. I want to eat my meat. I want. And that's fine. I'm kind of surprised, because when I got to a certain point in my life, I wanted change, and I think I would do anything. I was getting sicker and fatter. I just wanted something that was going to help me. Spiritually speaking, I believe that we are here to create this beautiful life for whatever our particular circumstances are. That we're all very, very different, and that diversity is joyous and should be rejoiced in. I believe that people can have so much appreciation, thanksgiving, and love in their soul. They probably could eat almost anything and not have a problem. I am not one of those people. If I have sometimes I have an apple, and I will put a little bit of a black bean chocolate hummus over it, and a little cinnamon. So good. If I have a large salad, now I'm not talking this dinky little salad. I'm talking a large bowl of salad, and cut up whatever vegetables sound good. Put some vinegar in there. I could create some of my salad dressings, but it's not always necessary. But when you have a green cruciferous salad like that, you should have a little nut with it, because that will increase or seeds, sorry, should have said seeds, that will increase your body's ability to absorb carotenoids, fat-soluble vitamins, and other fat-soluble micronutrients 50 to 70%. Isn't that awesome? So it makes sense to put a little healthy fat, a little avocado. I like to put in a little bit of pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds, or sometimes I make a nut-based dressing. Sometimes I use tofu and a little bit of nuts and hemp seed, and sometimes I use white beans. It's just, I can make all sorts of different dressings with those kind of ingredients. So I've had some sort of fruit, my berry bowl or my apple. I've had a giant salad. Now, what's really interesting about this, I don't know what you think so far, but I'm really full. I am really, really full. And to continue to eat just doesn't even make any sense anymore. This evening, I've gone out there and experimented with about 5 different recipes, and I've created a vegetable corn chowder, which, by the way, my other half told me he loves. And it is extremely filling. So we're going to have that. And I'll probably have some little plate of fruit as a dessert. I totally believe in dessert, primarily for dinner. Something about it is satisfying and ends that meal. Okay, I used to eat chips and cookies hand over fist, always hungry, always hungry, always hungry, needed to eat some more. Well, it makes more and more sense now, because when you eat a highly processed, meat-filled diet, what happens is your stomach doesn't get very full. Even though it may seem like a volume of food, you don't get, the stomach stretch receptors don't really expand. And perhaps more importantly, you have sensors in your body and brain, and you're not getting any micronutrients with this kind of food. And so, yes, you're going to be perpetually hungry as your brain helps you to seek that food that will give you certain nutrients that you're missing and that you really need. Isn't that interesting? So I've gone from a starved wretch that could eat hand over fist, thinking about food 24/7, and usually not the best variety of food, to someone who feels joyous and thankful and excited with every day of life. Just love this journey. And I think the difference is not to vilify food. I think if you want to eat, you should eat. But I think the big thing here is, are you eating real whole food or fake food? Are you eating that which nourishes your body and your soul? This is something that feels really tasty and good right now, but it's going to let you down in a couple of hours. I think you know what that is like, and it's not a particularly fun experience. It's really hard to get past that primitive brain that thinks that you should want those short-term satisfactions that end up maligning your life. I mean, if you don't, it's like those cruciferous vegetables, they repair your DNA. I mean, why would you not want to enjoy those and bring them in hand over fist into your diet, just to encourage your health and well-being? So, food is the type of, I would call it non-food out there. There's a lot of what I call fake food, non-food, that is highly palatable, processed to ultra-processed, and very, very addicting that you can hardly stop eating it. And then there's food that tastes beautiful when your taste buds recover and you get full and you really want to go do something else. When I first started this journey, someone said, all right, write a journal, and you want to write what you eat and your exercise and your weight, blah, blah, blah. But you need to write down what gives you joy, that is not thinking about food, preparing food, or eating food. Well, I'll tell you what, it took me a while to figure that out. Well, thank you for listening. I hope this made some sense to you. Just take very good care of yourself, because you are a beautiful spirit, a soul that this dear earth truly needs, and you give us all such a great gift of your presence. So here's to you, to your health, and Merry Christmas from Mary Jo. Take care. Bye-bye.